How fast do we need to charge an electric vehicle? Well, here I am back from my travels, and very interesting it was too. Here in Australia, I think we can learn a lot from other countries, especially from places like Norway. I saw large numbers of destination chargers in car parks, and it got me thinking about how fast do we actually need to charge our EVs? And the answer isn't as quite as straightforward as you might think. There are many factors that come into play here. Firstly, how fast will your EV accept a charge? What is the capability of the charger in use? What's your EV's charging curve? Are you travelling locally or going on a long trip? And so on. First, let's talk about the different types of charging that are available for electric vehicles. Basically, three main types: level 1, level 2, level 3. So level 1 and 2 both use AC, whereas level 3 basically uses DC, and it's referred to as DCFC, or DC fast charging. Now, level 1 is the slowest type of charging, and it typically uses your standard house plug outlet. And it can take 24-30 hours to fully charge your EV on a level 1 charger from flat all the way up to full. Level 2 charging still uses AC, but it is faster than level 1. Level 2 uses the typical level type 2 charging connector, also known as a Mennekes adapter. And whilst the voltage may be the same, like here in Australia, we've got 240 volts. In the USA, they've got 120 and 240, so things are a little bit different. But level 2 does allow for a higher amperage, so more juice gets into the battery, and it can take between 4 and 8 hours to fully charge an EV on a level 2 charger. Now, here in Australia, as I've said, we've got our standard wall socket with 240 volts, and the standard wall socket has a maximum of 10 amps. So that would be 2.4 kilowatts tops. And you probably won't quite get that. So let's say 2 kilowatts. So your standard 60 kilowatt hour battery, like I've got on my Tesla Model Y, it'll take 30 hours to go from completely flat to completely full. Now you can get up to 32 amps single phase in your average household in Australia. So at 240 volts, 32 amps gives you a top rate of 7.6 kilowatts. Usually this is closer to the 7.2 to 7.5 kilowatts. And this is what I've got installed in my home. So your average 60 kilowatt hour battery will take about 8.5 hours to go from completely empty to completely full, which is basically overnight. Some houses have got 3-phase power, and here in Australia, you'd get 16 amps down each of the phases. So that equates to 48 amps at 240 volts, giving you around 11.5 kilowatts. So filling your battery will take just over 5 hours. Now, level 3 charging, which as I said is known as DC fast charging, or DCFC for short, it's the fastest type of charging available. And it depends upon the site and the charger and the voltage and the current, and they are all differing. But they can be anywhere from 22 kilowatts up to 350 kilowatts, with some of the new ones coming out now with even higher specs. I think the new Tesla version 4 can charge up to 1 megawatt. That's pretty good going. You'd have thought that charging a 60 kilowatt hour battery at 180 kilowatts DCFC would charge the battery in 20 minutes. 60, 180, third of an hour. It won't. As I mentioned before, there is a charge curve that affects all batteries. At the slower AC charging speeds, that charging curve isn't really noticeable until the battery gets up to being pretty full. But on the DCFC units, it makes quite a difference. So here's the charging curve that I did for my Tesla Model Y at a Tesla supercharger. Now, as you can see from this graph, it starts off really quite fast at around the 170 kilowatts that it's rated at, but it soon starts to slow down. And by the time it hits 95%, it drops off quite considerably. By the way, if you like some of my videos, it would be nice if you just clicked on the like and subscribe buttons below. Gives me a big hug. And remember, it's completely free. So as I said earlier, one of the factors is how fast your car will take the charge. So for instance, BYD Atto 3 will take up to about 80 kilowatts. Tesla rear-wheel drive up to about 170 kilowatts. Tesla long range and performance models will take up to 250 kilowatts. But you'll need a charger capable of hitting those speeds as well. Now, it's said that most people will use the slower forms of charging, such as Type 1, Type 2, at home around 90% of the time. I've even heard 95%. I don't know of any studies that actually confirm this. So if you do, let me know in the comments below. I'd appreciate it. Now, let's talk about how faster charging can make your road trips more convenient, because a lot of the time we're just doing local runs, so the slower Type 1 and Type 2 charging is enough. But if you're going on a long trip, you need to plan some charging stops. Now, various automobile associations recommend that you only drive for, say, about 3 hours, and then you have a 30-minute rest. And it's this rest stop where you can plan your charging. By the way, people that say they want their EV to be able to do 800 kilometers or 8 hours driving non-stop are dangerous, and they shouldn't be allowed on the roads. You need to have that break to refresh yourself. You can grab a coffee, a toilet break, and it's an excellent way of driving safely and staying alert and alive and not injuring other people as well. Personally, being old, I need a toilet break every couple of hours. So this rest break is an excellent time to charge your EV. If you drive a Tesla, the software in the car can plan it for you, and it will stop at superchargers around the country. Unless you live here in Western Australia, of course. Come on, Elon, get some more superchargers over here, pretty please. So basically, if you we want your car to be able to charge from, say, 20% to 80% battery capacity in 20 minutes or less. Many cars are now quite capable of this at some of the high-speed chargers. So the newer Hyundai EVs can do this at 350 kilowatt chargers, for example. Around the outback in Western Australia, you aren't going to get much in the way of fast charging done. The state government is currently installing chargers approximately every 200 kilometres. That speed that they're putting in, the chargers, go from 50 kilowatts up to about 150 kilowatts. Personally, I don't think they've realised that these 50 kilowatt chargers are very out of date. Here in Western Australia, the RAC, Royal Automobile Club, installed 50 kilowatt chargers around 10 to 12 years ago around the southwest of our state, so that those early Nissan Leafs could get around easily. So 50 kilowatt chargers are somewhat old hat now, and we could do with some faster chargers, but at least they're putting in something. So in conclusion, level 1 and 2 charging, convenient for short trips, daily use, and that's in use most of the time. Fast charging options, i.e. level 3, are better for the longer trips and the road trips, as it helps saves you time and makes your journey more convenient. Not only that, but you need an EV that can charge from 20 to 80% fairly quickly. And you need plenty of chargers that are capable of giving you the necessary power to achieve this. From what I've witnessed driving a Tesla around most countries, it makes things really easy and fast, unless you're here in Western Australia. Over the eastern side of Australia, there's plenty of Tesla superchargers plenty of DC fast chargers, it's not too bad. So you need to help. You need to plan things out, and to help with this, there's a variety of apps: PlugShare, a Better Route Planner. These are handy tools to have. So if you want, I can do a little video on how to use PlugShare, a Better Route Planner, and so on. So if you want, make a comment in below and I'll have a look at that. So thanks very much for watching. If you do have any questions or comments, please leave a comment below. Don't forget, click that like and subscribe button, and you'll get notified of more videos on electric vehicles, renewables, and so on. And I'll see you all very soon.